Videoathon is, I will post my link to my announcement video down below, along with my co-host Ben Sanders and G Swizzle's channels down below as well. And today I'm actually going to be doing my January wrap-up video, and then I will be posting 10 links down below for you guys to go check out because I have some amazing booktubers in mind, but I definitely wanted to do my wrap-up before January was over, but I will end up probably doing this prompt on a different day. But for now, I'm going to do my wrap-up for January, and yeah, let's just get into it. So the first thing I read this month was Warcross by Marie Lu, and this takes place in a virtual reality world, kind of half and half. And I didn't think that I was going to really enjoy this book, but I actually really loved it. And I think I gave it a 4-star rating, 4 or 5. 4, I think, because it did have a few issues in it. But for the most part, it was a really enjoyable read. It was one that I did not expect to like as much as I did, and so I'm really happy that I did end up reading it. It was one that I didn't ever plan on reading, and I just did. It was like an impulse read. I ended up buying it because I saw one of my favorite booktubers reading this book, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a try because I trust her judgment in books. And so I bought it, and then as soon as I got it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna jump into it and read it, and I really liked it, so I'm glad that I did read it. The next book is one that I finished this month. I didn't start it this month, but I finished it this month, and that is Keeper by Kim Chance. Kim Chance is an author-tuber. Oh my gosh, sorry about the drumming. It's the only way I get Lincoln to be distracted while I did this video. So, Kim Chance is an author-tuber, and this is her debut book. It is about a witch named Lainey who doesn't know she's a witch and then discovers she's a witch, and it's kind of her journey finding out who she is and trying to defeat this bad guy with her best friend and this really hot guy. This book actually just released yesterday on the 30th, and you should go check it out because you might just really enjoy it. You should also check out Kim Chance's channel because she's just an amazing person. She's just so sweet, and I just highly recommend going and checking out her channel because she has some really sound advice. I actually ended up giving this book a 2-star rating. It wasn't quite my cup of tea, but I think mostly that is because I feel like it was aimed more towards a younger audience. I think that somebody at my reading level, or somebody, I'm kind of at the point where I'm trying to branch out of YA and into more like new adult, because I'm feeling like YA is getting a little boring for me to read, and I want to read some stuff that's more in my, I don't mean this to sound like conceited or anything, but like maturity level. Like, I'm a mom and I'm 24, so I'm kind of getting into the world of I want to relate to the people that I'm reading about, and I can't really relate to teenagers really anymore. So this book was a little hard for me to relate to, besides obviously the fantasy magical element, but still, if you are really into YA and maybe even some like middle grade books, I would check this out. The next book that I read, I actually talked about in my previous video, is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and I loved this book, which I'm very surprised. I had very low expectations for this, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I did end up enjoying it. I think I had really high expectations for Six of Crows, and that's why I didn't really enjoy it very much. It just was overhyped. But this book, I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about. I mean, I've heard people talk about the Grisha trilogy and that they've read this book and that Six of Crows takes place in the same world as this book, but I haven't really heard them talk in depth about this book or talk about if they like it or not. So I actually really loved this story and the world that it was in. I feel like the world was different. I mean, was built up different than it was in Six of Crows, and I really did enjoy this book. I feel like that you did kind of have to read this book to understand some of the world in Six of Crows, and maybe that's why I didn't like it. I do plan on finishing this series and then going back to Six of Crows and trying to read it again because I did only get halfway through it. So I guess it's not really fair to say that I just didn't like the whole book as a whole book, but I did DNF it, so I would say that I didn't like it enough to DNF it, which I don't normally like to DNF books. I try to push my way through it, so that's really saying something. But I do want to try to reread it. The last book that I read this month is one that I just finished, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I did do a review over this, so if you're interested in seeing that, I will put a little card thing up here in the corner somewhere so you guys can check it out. But this book was pretty good. I ended up giving it a 3.75 stars, and I did that because there were a few elements that I didn't like, but for the most part I did really enjoy this book, and I really did like how she took some normal tropes that you see in YA books and kind of turned them around or deconstructed them and put them back together in a different way and made them more interesting. Like I said in my review, like I really didn't enjoy the first part of the book, but I loved the second part of the book, and that made up for the first part of the book. And I did think that the first part of the book was important for the last part of the book. So I do recommend checking this book out because it was good. Alright, so that is it for this video. Go ahead and check out my shoutouts down below. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!